Welcome to the very first episode of our Flutter and ESP32 IoT series. In this series, we are going to build a completely custom IoT system from scratch, from the ESP32 firmware all the way to a professional Flutter mobile application. We are not using Blynk, ThingSpeak, or any ready-made IoT dashboards. Every part of this project, the Firebase database, the ESP32 firmware, and the Flutter app is designed and built entirely by us. This way, you will understand exactly how everything works behind the scenes. Today's goal is simple. We will read a temperature value from an ESP32, upload it to Firebase Realtime Database, and display that value live inside a Flutter application. Once this foundation is working, adding more sensors, switches, automation, notifications, and complete smart home features becomes incredibly easy. One of the biggest advantages of using Firebase is that the ESP32 and your phone do not even need to be connected to the same Wi-Fi network. As long as both devices have internet access, you can monitor your hardware from anywhere in the world. Before we begin, a quick reminder. In our previous video, we completed the entire Flutter, Firebase, and PlatformIO development environment setup. If you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend doing that first, because today we are jumping directly into the project. So let's get started. Open your browser and search for Firebase Console. Open the official console and sign in using the same Google account that we used during the environment setup. Click Create a Firebase project. Enter the project name ESP32-Firebase-Controller. Accept the terms and click Continue. Keep clicking Continue through the setup wizard, choose any analytics location, accept the terms, and click Create Project. Firebase will now create your new project. Once it is ready, click Continue. Now let's create our cloud database. From the left sidebar, click Database and Storage, then Real-Time Database. Click Create Database. Choose your preferred region and click Next. For this tutorial, we will select Start in Test Mode. Click Enable. This allows anyone to read and write data, making initial development much easier. However, never use test mode in a production application. Later in this series, we will secure everything properly using Firebase authentication and database rules. Database is now ready. Open the Rules tab. Replace the existing rules with the security rules shown on the screen. Why are we adding these rules? By default, Firebase blocks unauthorized database access. These rules tell Firebase that only the device's ESP32_01 node can be read and written. Everything else remains completely inaccessible. This keeps our database organized and prepares it for multiple hardware devices later. Click Publish. Now, switch back to the Data tab. You will notice that Firebase automatically generated a real-time database URL. We will use this exact URL later inside both our Flutter application and our ESP32 firmware. Create a new file named Firebase_initial_data.json anywhere on your PC. Open it with Notepad and paste the JSON structure exactly as shown on the screen. This JSON defines the initial layout of our database before the hardware starts uploading real sensor data. Go back to Firebase, click the three-dot menu and choose Import JSON. Browse to the file and click Import. After the import finishes, you will see the Devices node appear automatically. Perfect! Our database structure is ready. Now, let's create a Flutter project. Open Visual Studio Code. Navigate to the folder where you would like to create your project, open the terminal, and run the creation command. Flutter create ESP32_Firebase_controller. Flutter will generate a brand new project. Now, change directories into your project folder so we can install our dependencies. First, add the core package by running flutter pub add firebase_core. Once that finishes, bring in the database tools with flutter pub add Firebase_database. Finally, generate our local configuration files by executing flutterfire configure. When the CLI asks which platforms you want to support, select the web platform first. We will test everything in the desktop browser before building the Android application. That is one of Flutter's biggest strengths. You write the code once and deploy it to Android, iOS, web, and desktop seamlessly.
But wait, why are we doing all of this heavy lifting manually?
We don't have to. AI coding agents can handle the entire coding part automatically. I am using Codex. I'll open up the agent and pass in our very first prompt. Create a Flutter app named ESP32_Firebase_controller. Add Firebase_core and Firebase_database packages and configure the app for web for now. Look at the screen. Everything we were about to configure by hand is now being generated automatically in seconds.
Now that the app base is ready, let's give the agent our database layout. For our next prompt, I will paste our exact JSON structure directly into Codex. This is our Firebase database structure. Update our Flutter application to work with this layout. The agent instantly processes the JSON and writes the stream tracking logic to map perfectly to our database paths.
Next, let's pivot to the hardware. Instead of writing C++ from scratch, I'll prompt Codex to generate our PlatformIO firmware. Create a PlatformIO project for an ESP32 C6 Super Mini. A BMP280 sensor is attached at SDA GPIO 19 and SCL GPIO 20. A GC9A01 display is also attached with SCLK pin 4, MOSI pin 6, DC pin 2, CS pin 7, and RST pin 1. Display the BMP280 values on the round display. Just like that, the entire hardware initialization code, driver declarations, and display logic are fully generated.
Now, let's link the hardware and the mobile app together through the cloud. I'll feed Codex one final integration prompt, giving it our project URL. This is the JSON file we added to our database, and our Firebase URL is ESP32-Firebase-controller.firebaseio.com. Make the ESP32 update these values in the database, and make the Flutter app fetch these live values from Firebase. Add this configuration to both projects.
Because this system runs online over local network connections, the agent smartly outputs empty placeholders for our Wi-Fi SSID and password. We will quickly paste our real credentials in and keep them hard-coded for this initial test.
With the code ready, let's flash our hardware. Open the terminal and execute the command pio run -t upload. Once the upload status hits 100%, look at the Firebase web console. Immediately, the placeholder values vanish and the ESP32 starts actively pushing live temperature data directly to the cloud.
Now let's spin up our Flutter web view to see if the front end is listening. As you can see on the screen, our custom web dashboard is updating perfectly in real time, right alongside the database changes. To wrap up the software, let's take this project mobile. You can simply prompt the agent, now create an APK file so I can test it on an Android phone too. Alternatively, you can trigger the compiler directly inside the terminal by running flutter build apk --release. Once the compilation completes, I'll transfer the fresh APK file over to my physical Android phone and install it.
And here's the final demo. Right now, every screen is showing 0. The Firebase database, the web dashboard, the Android app, and our TFT display is off. The moment we power up the ESP32, the sensor starts reading, Firebase updates instantly, and live values appear across all 4 screens in real time. One ESP32, one Firebase database, multiple clients, all perfectly synchronized over the internet. In our next episode, we will start expanding this framework by adding bidirectional controls to send commands back to our microcontrollers. If you enjoyed this build, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in next video.